Good times, great music at 2 and URFM 103.7. As we jump into the world of science, we do that every couple of weeks with this bloke right here. He's our Professor of Science from the University of Newcastle, John O'Connor. John, thank you so much for your time. We're jumping into the desert today. Not quite summer yet, but we'll get all nice and warm.
Yes, we get warm and dehydrated.
We'll do our very best. Now, this new clay that's going to help us plant things in the desert, how's this work?
This is a wonderful product. It's developed by a Norwegian company, a bit strange, desert Norway. But anyway, this Norwegian company has developed a clay which helps you to control the soil moisture and control its fertility. And it's done through clay. Now, you could go out there and chuck a whole pile of clay on sand and dig it in, but it's a very labour-intensive process. But this particular company has developed a process whereby they break the clay down into incredibly small particles. They are a micron in diameter. Think of it as a plate. The plate is a micron diameter wide and about 1/100th of that thick. So it's these thin flakes of clay. And what they do is first they produce them, and then they attach a small air bubble to each side of them, and they disperse them in water. And then they can go around and spray this around you just spray water around. So this stuff you can spray over the desert, over the sand, and what happens is it gets absorbed by the sand. It gradually drifts down, and it covers about the first half metre or so. And the thing that this does is it puts the clay in the soil, which is really valuable because straight sand is really not very good for holding water for plants, not great for fertility. And so this clay locks onto the grains of sand. It'll reduce the water consumption by about 50%. It introduces various trace elements into the soil, which helps the plants grow and dramatically increases the fertility of the land. And this is really important one. Deserts are a big issue around the world, and China's trying desperately to grow trees to hold back a desert. They're doing the same thing in Africa. But this challenge of actually trying to keep the water in place is a very important one.
It'll almost make the substance like quicksand.
Well, I don't think it's quite that good, but there's some great demonstrations that this works, and it really increases the productivity in the areas. There's in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they've got areas which they've converted the desert into farming land, and you can actually see the transition. There's a website put up by this Norwegian company called www.desertcontrol.com. And I recommend people go and look at this because, it's not often we can actually show pictures on this show. And so this is an opportunity for people to see the dramatic change that this particular treatment can make to the soil.
Yeah, look, and again, I mean, like I said, there's so much, John, there's so much desert around. I mean, if we can actually utilise some of that to, for plant life to grow and all of the good stuff that'll come from there, it's just amazing though that the part of the world that this has come from, where there's not really a lot of desert in Norway.
You're right. Certainly, the oil-rich companies are probably going to jump on this one because Saudi Arabia, in particular, imports almost all their food, and so they in particular would like to try and boost their food production, as would other Middle Eastern countries. But it's not just reclaiming the desert, it's also reclaiming land we've lost, because a lot of the deserts have been encroaching on quite fertile land. So this is a chance of pushing back that barrier, first off reclaiming what we've lost, and then growing the area larger so we can grow more food, because a huge percentage of potential food production has been lost over the last few decades through this process. If we can win that back, we can solve some food problems in some parts of the world.
Hold back some of those shifting, whispering sands. John Lovett, thank you so much as always for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
There he is, our Professor of Science from the University of Newcastle, John O'Connor, on 2NURFM 103.7.
A broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.